Andrea and Lucas, keep moving you around in your seat.
have very limited time, and the sooner we settle down, the better for all of us. We would like to inform you that our side event is also live, and it would be great if colleagues at the corner there could take their seats. If you could take your seats now, it would be very helpful. Thank you very much. So, this is how our sharing for today is set up or organized. This is a conversation, storytelling side event. It is not the usual side event that is corporate COP28 style. That is why we will not be taking these fancy white seats here, because we would like to stand in solidarity with people on the ground. We do not imply that those who take these seats in their side events are not connected to people on the ground, but this is just our way of practically expressing our solidarity with the suffering of the excluded. In our session today, we are going to have four different environmental defenders, and they are going to share their lived experiences from the ground. I know there are English speakers who prefer to listen to this in Spanish. You can get the translation devices there. I do not speak Spanish, so I will not attempt to swallow my own tongue trying to explain this in Spanish. We will begin with a showcase of a short video, a very moving video, a video that will make an appeal to the world concerning how people on the ground are suffering because of the exclusion discrimination, violence, and horrific attacks on environmental defenders. The literal destruction of life and livelihoods. If we are ready, we will play a video by Peregrino Gonzalo. Thank you very much. Readiness, we go.
Baja de Peregrino Gonzalo Chanopa Chaeta. Ella hinkyo palmarial ha hinkyo kwea eso hoya ella kwada. Ella jabakia kwa 2019 ekwebeshi. Aya pishada bibisa kwa hoya deja dobia kwa beisha kwa kwada ha beshi así. Beisha kwa beshi piaja ayowa ekwadaha que baje ella vivía kwa ella deja caja kwa ekwe celular vio de kaiyaja pishada kwa aka kwa owe pojan ella do bikio akwa.
En estos momentos, señores, sin más pleitos o problemas, necesitamos que se retiren ustedes, por favor, por esta zona, porque no queremos que nos vinculen con la organización criminal de la minería ilegal.
Kije de hija hashaja ajaque kwa cueca kwa bi aka kwa hija bi cueca owe pojan kwa illa kakwa cuea de kakwa evado cosa kwa que acá de por baje a chaksha todo que quise baje porque kwa vio así más becajiti so que kwa deja ya do via kije de illa kwa yo que kakwa wadaji yo va pa pedi we no más kije kakwa wajaja ekuyaji jajama kwa ekwe beshi chama waja aya jaija hawadaka kije de yo akwe kwa jaque kwa kia deja kwa pada.
Tú a mí me caes al pincho. No te un tiro a ti, huevón. Estás en la mira causa.
Mati oye a ti po yojima caja poya kwa que acá ella cueva guarda se no más cueva kwa eja guarda poya que va va esposa poki kwadi cuebeshi bibi hain sapo que acá deja beisha kwa ti va ti yo ya había pobre hinkyo ella ama kwadi
They will offer me protection, they promised. Police protection. But there is no police in my home. What a promise. This is the kind of experiences the environmental defenders, whom we have seemed to forget in the COP conversations, are living every day. These people are fighting not just for our future, but for our today and our yesterday, our heritage. But we have somehow managed to forget them. So much so that even what has been lost of them and what has been damaged that is theirs is not featured in loss and damage conversations. That we are busy talking about setting up a fund, great. But how about the non-economic loss and damage that Peregrino is going to face or has already faced? Somebody promises you protection where there is none to be offered. And then the next thing is, I will shoot you. And you think that's all right? How can we carry on as if it's all right to forget about those who are fighting on the ground, literally with their lives? We will hear from lived experiences now of our colleagues, and I would request my sister Lena to help with passing the microphone. We had intended that we would have a conversational kind of setup, but we are not allowed to reset the room. And so we will kindly implore your indulgence. Please accept to move your bodies and face the person that is speaking, all right? And when they raise a point, we must be able to applaud, but applaud it nicely. Everybody got a thumb, index, and middle finger somehow? Yeah, that's fantastic. So Dominic Nyasulu is from Malawi. He works with young people and is also a person of faith. Dominic is going to share with us the experiences of even the heritage that was passed on to him by his grandfather and how they have fought to try and defend that in their land. I will not take the show from him. The spotlight is his, and we should all focus on Dominic. Dominic, please.
Thank you so much, colleagues. I'm glad to be here just to share some of the few things we as environmental defenders, we face in our own communities. First of all, I come from Malawi. Dominic Nyasulu, as already introduced, the national coordinator and founder of World Faith, Malawi, but also a co-founder of National Youth Network on Climate Change. For the World Faith one, it brings together youth from different faith communities to work together, but also promote peace and coexistence among the youth in terms of how we can live together, because we all normally face the same challenges. So as youths, we need to work together beyond our faith. I just wanted to share one of the major, experience that I have personally faced as a young person, environmental defender. It was in 2020 when we had the elections, and the new government was ushered in power after being in opposition for maybe more than 30 years. So, when the new government is put in place, there are several projects and programs that normally are supposed to be implemented. And when such projects are to be implemented, we normally, government conduct environmental and social impact assessments. So normally as the defenders, we are also supposed to understand all those processes. We are also supposed to generate evidence, the data, and the designs of various projects. So one of the bigger projects, the government of Malawi, I think, generated a loan to actually construct a water project in one of the protected areas. So when you go to Malawi, or if you Google, one of the districts that is so precious with fresh waters, but also many precious species of fish in Malawi, it is called Mangochi. So if you Google, or if you go to Malawi, if you don't actually visit the place, which means that you have not visited the country. So it's a very precious district with fresh waters from Lake Malawi, but also with different species of fish that can only find in that particular area. So there is a hill up there. So the project for the government was supposed to tap water and bring it to the hill and then share it to the communities. And it is even by now a protected area, a heritage protected area. So after hearing that with my colleagues, we had to find out in terms of the implication, in terms of the impact assessment and other designs that were meant for that. So after realizing that I think it was a wrong decision by the government, then we conducted our own assessment in terms of how can we protect the area, because after all, initially the area is a protected one by all means, and there isn't any project that are supposed to be done in that particular place. And then we had to engage a lawyer who actually also helped us in terms of how could we push an agenda. And then through our lawyer, then we had to go to court to seek an injunction. It was $1 billion project anyway. So then at the end of the day, we were able to succeed to take an injunction. And then after that, you could see that being a new government, trying to advance its own agenda after no political promises through campaigns. So it was very difficult moments for us, being young, but also maybe inexperienced, not connected to people, not even connected to other, legal provision for free. So it was really tough. But then we stood by ourselves, because we had all the evidence, we had generated the evidence. And the funny thing is that we started getting some threats. Threats from the chiefs, threats from the parliamentarians and politicians. They were labeling us as the enemies of development, because as a new government, had a very clear agenda in terms of how they wanted to support the government, the communities. So it was very difficult that we started, not even living in our homes. We were just living somewhere being protected by our colleagues. So we had no any protection. But I think through our lawyers, we were able to push that. And through our lawyers, we were able even to engage the chiefs, because the chiefs had no ideas in terms of the project designs, but also the cost implication, but also especially the long-term impacts of the project to the communities. Yes, they can access the water today, but the long-term impacts of the project to the community, which means that then siltation, but also loss of biodiversity, but also loss of tourism, because it's one of the areas that attracts tourism. So after engaging the chiefs, they started now appreciating. And in the course of that, they realized that even the initial design was changed, and all the things related to the project was actually changed. So they started appreciating our efforts, and then at the end of the day, we were able to succeed in terms of getting also the support from them. And then at high level, we were able even to engage the minister himself for the environment, just to try to understand about our story. He was a good minister anyway by then, because he wanted also to find out about our story and then how the project could impact the communities in the long run, but also the environment, vis-a-vis the economic contribution of the project to the society. So in summary, we were able to succeed, and at the end of the day, with the government, we were able also to negotiate and settle these court issues outside the court. But then with the influence, the result of our engagement is that the project was redesigned to making sure that some of the threats were not able to be implemented, but also the measures to making sure that we mitigate those negative effects in the long run were also put in place because of our efforts. Maybe just to finish, some of the challenges, when we are a defender, normally you are not in good terms with the politicians. It happened when we were also attending the COP26 in Glasgow. And at that time, I remember the PS by then, the principal secretary, because we normally attend as part of the government. So we were threatened to be also thrown outside of the COP as party, because the injunction, we took the injunction where we were meeting in Glasgow. So, but then at the end of the day, we were able to engage each other and understand each other and address the impacts that we could have registered implementing such a project in the long run. So legal issues is a problem, because we don't have the resources either to pay the lawyers to protect us, but also sometimes security for our own and also our families. This also is a challenge. So it's something that we are looking forward in terms of how the upcoming young generation of environmental defenders can be connected and be protected at all levels. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dominic. A story of triumph by young people from Africa, Southern Africa to be specific. With a change of government, environmental defenders are almost required to shift automatically. Yet we ourselves are not able to do that automatically. With the change of the temperatures, our negotiators have not been able to change automatically. But for some reason, an environmental defender, a young environmental defender, is somehow supposed to press some switch and adjust. But we cannot press the switch and adjust. It's very unfair. A story of triumph. Our sister from Latin America is going to speak. A moving story that will probably require Robert to take some translation device. I'm not naming names. But if you can speak Spanish, well and good. If you can't, now would be your chance to take a translation device over there. So the story is a lived experience of another yet young person who carries their community in their hearts with them and moves with it everywhere. Because environmental defenders, especially who have connection to their roots, know that it is never about me, it's about all of us. I am not a story in isolation. In Africa, we have the Ubuntu. I am because we are. It can never be me and me alone. Nansedalia, Ramirez, you're welcome. You can stand.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Nansedalia Ramirez Domínguez y soy de México, soy de un ejido forestal, una comunidad local que administra bosques en México. Represento a la juventud de la Red Mexicana de Organizaciones Campesinas Forestales y a la juventud de la Alianza Mesoamericana de Pueblos y Bosques, y también estoy representando a la juventud de la Alianza Global de Comunidades Territoriales. Y hoy no quiero hablar en mi nombre, quiero hablar en nombre de mis hermanos que están ahí en territorio, luchando día a día por defender su territorio, su hogar, por defender los bosques, por defender la vida del planeta. En nuestro día a día nos enfrentamos a muchas amenazas, amenazas que son provocadas por el extractivismo, por estas empresas petroleras, estas empresas de hidroeléctricas, termoeléctricas, y también en México, que es muy marcado por la minería. Y quiero contar un poco acerca de un caso que sucedió en México, en la Sierra Norte de Puebla. En el año 2001, aproximadamente, una concesión minera, una empresa canadiense, comenzó a hacer una exploración de oro en los bosques de la Sierra de Puebla. Para el 2010 se confirmó la mineralización de la zona y en el 2014 fue cuando ya se dio y se publicó el estudio de evaluación económica que iba a permitir la extracción de esa mina. Es por ende que dentro de ese territorio existen comunidades indígenas y comunidades locales, las cuales se oponían rotundamente a que este proyecto se desarrollara, porque iba a acabar con los bosques, iba a terminar desplazando a esas comunidades. Y entonces los pueblos se organizaron para poder hacer una lucha en contra de estas empresas, de estas concesiones. Y quiero darles un dato curioso, y es que en México la minería es la principal actividad económica, por lo tanto tiene prioridad sobre todo. O sea, no importa si hay bosques sobre esos minerales, esa actividad es prioridad y por lo tanto no hay poder humano que impida que se desarrollen ese tipo de actividades. Sin embargo, eso no fue un obstáculo para las personas de la comunidad, porque ellos siguieron insistiendo, haciendo manifestaciones, buscando aliados, organizaciones que se sumaran a esta lucha. Se hicieron documentales en donde se hablaba acerca de cómo ha estado afectando o cómo afectaría el extractivismo en el territorio, cuántas hectáreas de bosques se estarían perdiendo, cuánta biodiversidad se estaría desapareciendo y cuántas comunidades estarían siendo desplazadas. Es un logro muy importante y que yo traigo acá, porque a pesar de haber recibido amenazas, a pesar de haber sido violentados de alguna manera, ellos lograron conseguir un amparo. Y para febrero del 2022, ellos lograron que la Suprema Corte de Justicia de la Nación quitara esas concesiones. Para nosotros es algo muy importante porque eso significa que organizados podemos realmente cambiar el mundo, que realmente podemos lograr nuestros propósitos y podemos salvar a la madre tierra. Es un tema que no se escucha, que no se habla en México ni en ninguna parte del mundo, porque eso demuestra que la sociedad organizada puede salir adelante y entonces para el gobierno y para las empresas eso no es favorable. Y yo quería traer ese caso aquí porque creo que es importante, porque da esperanza, da fe para que todos podamos unirnos, para que todos podamos seguir luchando. Pero también es importante decir que por qué tenemos que estar exponiendo nuestra vida día a día para poder cuidar los bosques, para poder cuidar la vida de todos los que están aquí presentes y los que están allá afuera. ¿Por qué tenemos que ser nosotros los que tenemos que sacrificarnos por eso? ¿Por qué no nos ayudan? ¿Por qué no hacemos algo entre todos? Sabemos perfectamente que si no existen mecanismos que garanticen los derechos humanos, los derechos de nuestros pueblos, dentro de todas las negociaciones y los acuerdos que se generan en esta COP, simplemente van a seguir siendo compromisos vacíos. Simplemente no va a haber solución. El final del planeta va a ser inminente y es importante que toda la sociedad se involucre. En lo personal también me he enfrentado a diversas amenazas dentro del territorio, luchas en contra de la deforestación, en contra de la tala ilegal, que por seguridad prefiero mantenerlo un poco así, sin tener mucho contexto, pero que no es una lucha lejana a una historia personal, que es una lucha que todos vivimos en el día a día y que creo que esto debe tocar los corazones de todas las personas, de los gobiernos, de las empresas, para que puedan realmente generar cambios. Y como jóvenes queremos traer estas voces de aquellas personas que no pueden estar aquí, de aquellas personas que están luchando y que muy posiblemente están arriesgando su vida en el día a día. Entonces, nuestra demanda tiene mucho que ver con eso. Necesitamos garantizar los derechos humanos de los pueblos en todos los acuerdos que se generen en estos tipos de eventos. Gracias.
So, a young girl, beautiful as she is being threatened for carrying the heart of her community with her. Can you believe it? That now she has to live the rest of her life looking back, watching over who's watching her, and not watching over her, but watching her with bad intention. Because somebody, somewhere, needs to feel posh and expensive with some jewelry. Somebody somewhere needs to run an industry that doesn't benefit her community. That it is all right to chase away somebody from their home, from their natural habitat, their rightful place, so that you can take that which is underneath them without caring where they will go or offer recourse. And in any case, who said that you can compensate displacement? How can you even begin to do that? Thank you, Nansedalia, for sharing your story and for being bold to stand for your community. A round of appreciation for her. They are deep stories. And we thought it might be best for us to sort of heal our souls in this ongoing conversation and stand with Nansedalia, with Dominic, and the others that will come to speak. We have invited our sister who has graciously accepted our invitation to come and play. My sister Annabelle from Hong Kong. She will break the ice for now, and then we'll go to the next round of our panels. Please, you're welcome. Appreciate her. She might refuse to play, you know. We have to keep going. Thank you. Thank you very much, Annabelle. Isn't she fantastic? Isn't she moving? She'll be back. She can speak, so she will speak. All right? But for now, we continue to listen to the environmental defenders, the people that the interfaith youth from the Catholic Youth Network for Environmental Sustainability in Africa, Soka Gakkai International UK, International Movement of Catholic Students, and the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University thought, we don't want this side event to be about us. We want this side event to be about the people who matter the most and seemingly are forgotten. We will not let them be forgotten. Environmental defenders will stay, and we will fight in line, alongside, behind them to make sure that their rightful place is respected, in fact, revered. We have another environmental defender, young as well. And she will share again her experiences with corporates, with being left bare by the government that so swore on a constitution to protect you. Can you imagine how easy it is to swear to protect the rights of everyone and then just denounce them? It's embarrassing, shame. Nidhya, you have the floor. You will need translation in case you don't speak Spanish.
Buenos días a todos. Para mí es un gusto y honor estar escuchando todas estas historias, porque también vengo de un territorio de lucha. Mi nombre es Nidia Pacheco, soy coordinadora de juventud de mi organización, la cual se llama Asociación de Mujeres Artesanas en Vera Amarie. También pertenezco a la coordinadora de mujeres líderes territoriales de Mesoamérica y a la Alianza Global Mesoamericana de Pueblos y Bosques. Estoy aquí para contar mi historia de lucha en mi territorio. En el año 1974, mi territorio fue reubicado forzosamente por la construcción de una hidroeléctrica. Pese a esto, fue muy duro todo este proceso para mis ancestros, que en ese momento habían construido ese territorio. Habían árboles de diferentes árboles, frutales, medicinales, que fue construido por mis abuelos y abuelas. Pese a esto, cuando nos reubicaron, perdimos nuestra identidad como indígenas, perdimos nuestra cultura, más que todo nuestro idioma. Hoy puedo decir que yo no hablo mi idioma, porque no me lo inculcaron y porque también sufrimos mucho de discriminación, mucha discriminación. También perdimos nuestras prácticas tradicionales, nuestras danzas, nuestra soberanía alimentaria la fuimos perdiendo. Y también mi padre, que en paz descanse, Bonarre Pacheco, fue el cacique más joven que tuvo mi comunidad y fue quien demandó a la Corte Interamericana de Derechos Humanos para seguir luchando por los derechos de nosotros y por las titulaciones de tierras que en ese entonces necesitábamos nosotros. Pero que a pesar de todo esto, vengo de una generación de jóvenes donde seguimos luchando y seguimos resistiendo ante nuestros pueblos, ante los problemas que hemos venido teniendo. En mi organización nos sentimos con la responsabilidad de seguir el legado que nos dejaron nuestros abuelos. Seguimos en la lucha. Hoy día trabajamos en la reforestación, trabajamos en la recuperación de nuestros bosques, en la recuperación de la soberanía alimentaria ancestral, que lo hemos perdido. Trabajamos en la recuperación de nuestra cultura, de nuestras danzas, más que todo en nuestro idioma, porque cuando nos reubicaron perdimos todo esto. En las escuelas no se hablaba más que el español y lo perdimos. Perdimos nuestras tradiciones, nuestra vestimenta. Hoy día hay chicos de mi comunidad, tristemente, que aún no reaccionan y que, o sea, no se pone una iniciativa de querer poder seguir, ¿cómo decir?, recuperando todo lo que nos dejaron nuestros ancestros. Y es muy triste para mí porque yo lo vivo todo el tiempo en mi comunidad, en mi territorio. Y esto es lo que hacemos nosotras en mi organización, es recuperar todo lo que hemos perdido. Seguir recuperando todo esto, ya que para nosotros es muy importante. Yo como joven sigo este proceso de lucha porque mi padre me inculcó mucho este proceso. Lo viví mucho con él, cuando nos tenía que dejar solo a mí, a mis hermanos, a mi madre. Por seguir luchando, me acuerdo que en una vez lo metieron preso, pero que a pesar de esto él seguía luchando. Mi comunidad estuvo en paro, estuvo en una super huelga increíble. Fue una lucha. Muchas personas de mi territorio murieron. Y para mí en especial, es muy importante seguir luchando por mi pueblo. Y es lo que hoy día quiero seguir inculcándole a jóvenes de mi territorio y a muchos jóvenes que sigan ese legado de sus ancestros y que sigan luchando por sus territorios. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Nidia, for that sharing. It's very painful when somebody has lost the right to language, culture. She laments that she doesn't know how to dance the Yahweh anymore because he wasn't there. People have to go on hunger strike to defend their own home. People have to be killed to defend their own home. Very young people that are fighting for something really that they don't deserve to be fighting for. What is she supposed to do? Postpone having a family so that she can defend her territory? Refuse to come to COP so that she can be heard? Or come to COP and be ignored anyway? She talked of what non-economic loss and damage looks like. Who is going to replace her songs? Who is going to teach her her language? Who is going to replace their dances? Who's going to tell the stories of her community? Because now they are lost somehow. And then we will think we are incredible in doing some research about a tribe that was chased away, driven away. And then publish that in some journal. I discovered a language that was lost. Discovered a language. How do you discover a language that already existed? Thank you for being bold to share your experiences with us. A daughter of a freedom fighter. In fact, not just any other freedom fighter, but a general commander of the freedom fighters who carries the same spirit of her father in her today, who, as recently as this COP, has faced threats in here, away from her territory. Somebody who has been put on government radar, corporate radar, and you name it. But by some sheer divine protection and her ancestral heritage, she's still able to fight. But do you know how she eases the pain? She dances. She's from Africa. Our sister, Ina Maria Shikongo. You have the floor. Let's welcome her.
Hi everyone. So I'm Ina Maria Shikongo. I'm from Namibia, and thank you for the introduction. So yes, I was born in exile in Angola during the liberation struggle against the South African apartheid occupation in Namibia. And yes, sadly, my father died. He was killed in the war, car bomb. And then before I was born, there was a massacre that happened in a refugee camp in Angola, where the apartheid regime, they also bombed a refugee camp, and there were many children that were displaced. So they didn't know what to do with those kids, so they sent us to the former East Germany, which is why I speak German today. But growing up in East Germany, we were taught to fight capitalism. You know, as young as at the age of 6, we had to start doing military training. It was part of the communist indoctrination. So we came back to Namibia after independence, which was in 1990. And since my return, I must say that I never really felt at home. And I think it's also because of being displaced, because of, you know, the conflict. It's, you don't know who you are. You are either too black for the Namibian whites, because Namibia is still a very racist society, which is still, like Germans and descendants of the Dutch still own most of the land, and you are too white for the black people. So I sort of had to develop my own identity, and when I finished high school, I became an artist because that was my only way of expressing myself. So anyway, long story short, I after finishing my studies, because I started fashion design, I knew I could not work in the fashion industry because it is a system that is based on exploitation, exploiting environment, exploiting people, and. So I started doing my own thing, which is community work. And I'm still doing community work, either in arts or also in permaculture. And we focus heavily also on agroforestry. So in 2020, we heard that a Canadian company was going to start fracking for gas and oil on the Okavango Delta, in the Okavango Basin, which is the Okavango Delta, which is in Botswana. So people will, like the industry will tell you, yeah, but the Okavango Delta is far. No, it is not far. Everything that is underground is interlinked. It is during the Berlin Convention of 1884, where they put straight lines through our countries, but our territories are united. But for me, when I heard that, because the Okavango Delta is also a protected site by UNESCO, I felt betrayed. Because the people sitting in government today are people that knew my father. I didn't know him. I was 2 when he died. When he was killed. Let me just put it that way. He did not die. He was killed. He was murdered. And I felt betrayed, you know? First of all, descendants of the people, like orphans of war, they never really benefited from anything. And since independence, I felt like our government just became more and more captured by corporate powers. But for me, I said, you are not going to touch the Okavango. That is our homeland. Namibia is a super dry country. It is the only place where we can literally grow food. It is a desert. The Okavango Delta, it is an inland delta that is the home of several endangered species. It is the home of, that hosts the largest population of African elephants, for example. But also it is the home of our First Nations, the San people. They are hunter-gatherers. They depend on the land. Yes, the company is called Recon Africa, and they said that they will not be fracking after we started calling them out. After we started calling them out, they said they're not fracking. So they knew that everyone was watching them. And but what happened in the beginning was, because my neighbor is the Secretary General of the ruling party, and also being the daughter of a commander, like automatically you're sort of like in the elite group in a way. And also because most of the people that were in exile ended up being part of the elite, so you're sort of like pulled in, because like we are still called exile kids today, even though we are like adults and we are parents. And yeah, so anyway, she called me and she tried to intimidate me. Well, I just shut her up right there, right then. So that was like the first time when I was like intimidated. And you know, also like I know her because I used to babysit her children. So I'm like, woman, shut up. So, but then like it didn't stop there. We then organized a protest where we went to UNESCO because it is a UNESCO heritage site. And even the PR, who's apparently here at COP, she's here, that woman, she because she also works with the media, so she used her profile to get information about me, you know? So that is what she did. And then because obviously this company, they didn't do any community engagement. We didn't know anything about this project. No one knew anything until it was in the papers. So if it was not for that article, you know they would have started doing the work without anyone being aware of it. So then they started doing community engagement. I went to the community engagement that they had in Windhoek, and it was during COVID times. I put them on the spot, and they started, I mean, obviously afterwards they started, you know, communicating, and then I even asked them. So because the Kavango Basin is like, well, the Kavango region itself, they have like over 22,000 people. Namibia is a population of 2.5 million people. So we're very small people. Like the capital city is like over 300,000 people. So it's luxury to be there. It's like no people. So this is a bit claustrophobic for me. And they spoke to this day, I think over 2 years, community engagement after they started operation, they spoke to 2,000 people. It is not even half of the population of the Kavango Basin. And they spoke to mostly men and not women as well. So I asked them, I put them on the spot. And on my way out, 2 people came to me, police officers apparently, and they wanted to arrest me for being disturbed. Yeah, for being disturbed. But I don't know how I get the strength, but I just pulled out my phone and I started filming them, and I told them shit to their face, like literally. And they got so scared that they let me go. But this did not stop, obviously. It is a fight that is continuous. COP26, when I was there, you had presidential delegates, you know, chasing us, you know, joining protests, trying to intimidate me because I had the privilege of speaking before Greta, and so I really raised awareness about the campaign. And yeah, so I had to stay behind for like several weeks, months, so I can do security training and I mean, like, since then, obviously, my life has been very difficult. I will be going out, like I will go to a club or go to a restaurant, and then you just see people taking pictures of me, and I'm like, why the hell are you taking pictures of me? And I know that they are with the oil industry. So I'm really being watched, like even like in this space, like you mentioned, I was in a bar, and I had people walking up to me. I'm like, why the hell, why are you taking pictures of us? And as soon as we said that, they walked away. I mean, how do you come in a bar, you take pictures of people, 2 or 3 people taking pictures of you, and then as soon as you're questioned, you just walk out of the bar? Aren't you supposed to go back to your table and to finish your drinks? Anyway, me personally, I know that regardless of the threats, regardless of the difficulty, also because I'm a parent, I know that I was conditioned, and I was conditioned by the same people that I'm fighting today. Back then, they taught us that we have to fight capitalism. And also, when you look at mining companies, even just like my brother here from Malawi, they call us enemies of development. No, we are not enemies of development. We want to protect our heritage. We want to protect our homes. And we have the right to develop in every way that we want to. And who are the colonialists to come and tell us how we should be developing? You are coming to our countries so you can extract the minerals that are underground in the name of profits. Even now they're using the poverty, the energy poverty in Africa so they can continue extracting oil on the African continent. People are being displaced. When I feel like even as an African, when I'm speaking, it is not fair for me to speak on behalf of as a Namibian, because this is happening globally. Even if you look at the conflict in Sudan, it is because of minerals. It is not, of course they buy their people. Our politicians are bought, they are captured. They make life difficult for us just for a few dollars. People in Congo are being displaced. We are talking about over 6 million people that have been displaced to date in the name of minerals. And this neo-colonialism has to stop. Not because we are enemies of development, but because we have the right to live how we want to live. We are the future of this planet. We have been preserving biodiversity. It doesn't matter how much they will intimidate us. They killed Kensarowiwa so many years ago. How many Kensarowiwas are we today? They killed our ancestors for over 500 years. Even today, when the US government is saying that, no, we need to eradicate Hamas, you are not eradicating Hamas. You are creating more people that are resilient. Fear is something that is not even in our hearts. I don't even know what fear means. I just know that I have to defend my homeland. I just know that there is space for a better world. And I know that there are more people in the global north, just like in the global south, that want the same thing. And I know that together we can achieve that, and we need to keep on calling out these people. So even that means, even if it is putting your life on the front line, so what? Even if my children will end up being orphans, so what? If that is the price, then so be it. But they have to know that we are not afraid of them. They have to know that we are here, we are in this space. We may not protest, but I'm going to hold up my fist and say, save the Okavango Delta. Thank you very much.
Fear is not known to us. It is a rare sentiment that would come from anyone who has faced threats, who has been followed all the way to COP. And you can hear people have used their positions of influence and power, including the UN system, to find out more about how to track her down. Look at her. She's a mother. But that doesn't count, does it? And she's fighting for what is rightfully her communities. It's not like she's asking for a favor. It's not like she's requesting. And then it appears she was given education that she was not supposed to apply. Ha! Fight capitalism, but when you fight it, we come for you. The stories of hope in that is that there's an opportunity for triumph, but they cannot continue doing it alone. They need all the hands on deck. I cannot be claiming to be a person of faith. I cannot be claiming to have a heritage if I am not uniting in this fight for what is rightfully belonging to the territories that are under attack because of some power struggle, scramble. We can't continue doing that. Colleagues, I invite you today to look deeply into your heart and reflect. How can you help Ina? How can you help Dominic? How can you help? How can you help Peregrino, who couldn't make it to COP? She's even lucky she's got a visa. Right? It happens. We've seen activists and environmental defenders being barred from going to a COP. But then that shows that when we don't have fear in our hearts, they are afraid of us in their hearts. That is why they will deny us visas and everything. As a people of faith, Baha'i, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, whatever you are, or a spiritual heritage, or a tradition, the unity that is required to fight this cannot be one-sided. And we cannot go in first foot, then second foot with consideration. It has to be all of us. I'd like to open the stage now for our sister Annabelle. She came, but she hasn't spoken. We'll give her an opportunity to express why she does this, why she's at COP, and what she does. And then she will play one more, and then we will invite you to share your insights. You might have noticed that at one point the room could not continue as it was with the number of people. It was so moving for some people they had to take the other door to exit, because people shared the horrors of their lives. We will develop some strength, we will develop some resilience. Annabelle.
Hi everyone, I'm Annabelle from Hong Kong, and what you can see, I play violin. I use music to educate people and spread the message about climate change. So music connects people, no matter where you're from, no matter what you believe in. Music is always a tool, a way to inspire, empower people. So today, I'm very glad that I'm here to share this music with all of you. So I just started with the song, The End of the World. So although the whole thing is just like the end of the world, like some people disagree with it, we have a lot of challenges, we face a lot of challenges. However, we are still here in COP28 because we hope to really change it and really let everyone to participate in this movement. So I would like to wrap it up with the song, Heal the World. And thank you for your effort in combating climate change. I know in here there are different people from different fields, and please hang in there. I know it's difficult, but let's have hope. And I hope to see more and more people will join this journey and will join us together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Annabelle, even for agreeing to come to be with us. I would like to give us an opportunity, and we'll still have an opportunity to connect with her. Please talk to her about her social media, how to get her. INA is here as well. The support they can get is both digital and physical. So when they are here, let's be united with them. Today is the Global Action Day, Day of Action. Let us get united with them. Let's work with them in their actions, support them. Online as well, please look for their social media handles and follow them. The only way we can be able to protect her is when she goes live and we are already watching. The world is watching. It instills fear in her detractors. That's the only way we can be able to save Nidia. That's the only way we can be able to save Peregrino without exposing them. So whenever they call on us, let us be there. This is the moment for us now to hear from you, our dear participants. This event would not have been successful without any of you. I'd like to give the first opportunity for intervention to our sister Lucy, with whom we graciously organized this event and worked very hard behind the scenes with together, Andrea and Lina. So Lucy, your thoughts.
I don't really know what to say. I think just the stories were why we did this. So what I have to say is really meaningless, actually. So I'm just really thankful to, to Shantanu, David, and our, our friends back at home who weren't able to come here. We had our first side event together at COP27. It was an interfaith youth side event, and we developed such friendships through that process. And I think we were all moved by going to COP as young people of faith, and just, we kept thinking of, we kept our dialogues going away after we got back and thought, what can we do? We have created this space, how can we really use it in the best way? And I think this is what we had come up with, and I can't have even imagined that this would be the outcome. So thank you so much, David and to Lina, for creating this amazing space. And yeah, we are here with you. If we don't know what we can always do, but just know that, we are standing with you, and we'll do what we can. And yeah, thank you so much. And we'll be really praying for your safety and protection. And yeah, to all of you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody else would like to take the floor at this juncture? Lina and Andrea as well. Andrea was the behind-the-scenes person that made all this happen. Some appreciation for her. Lina was on the front line. She was the real defender for this side event.
Thank you, everyone. I am a part of an organization called If Not Us, Then Who? And one of our filmmakers, amazing Calfine here, once told us that if not us, then who is not a question, it's a manifesto. And I believe that this side event has spoken a lot to that, a lot to the need of us being the ones who take action when those who have the power do not take it. Hopefully, one day we will be able to also move with our stories, those who have the power to make great big changes. For now, we appreciate each and every one of you for coming here, for coming to listen to these stories, and for putting what I believe is now a beautiful energy that we are all living with. And I hope that you can take those stories with you also on the fights that you keep taking on, and I hope that you keep taking them farther and farther, and we would be extremely excited to keep collaborating to make sure these stories are heard by the entire world, because we believe that stories have the power of transformation.
And then Andrea, they don't see you very much, but they hear you a lot.
Well, hello, and thank you everybody for coming. I think the opportunity to meet today, it's really the result of us coming together by coincidence. We were united with the group for the Youth with Faith by chance, by the way that COP28 side events work, but we found that it was a really meaningful time to connect with people who are also working for the defense of our land and who have this respect, but are working from a different intersection, but finding these spaces where we can both connect people working through faith, through the respect of nature, with the people who are living and protecting nature every day. It's a chance to build ambitious coalitions. It's a chance to get to know the intimate side of stories. So I'm thankful for the casualties of the It's the coincidences in life, sorry, that made us be here together and that brought us to this wonderful event. And I think it all worked out in the end for building a space that is different and that is going outside of the norms of how these spaces are put to be, but we made something that was closer to the heart and to how things are built from the ground. Thank you.
From where I come from and from where very many people also come from, our ancestors do not die. We do not die, we just transition, and we are always together. That is why the spirit of her father lives on in her. We have another intervention. Welcome, brother.
Thank you so much, everyone, organizers, for this event. I'm here for almost a week, and I was wondering if it was right to come to COP28, looking and hearing all the greenwashing. But this event shows me why I should be here. As one of the many victims, my father was murdered 4 months before I was born by the Indonesian military. I'm from West Papua, which is the western half of the island of New Guinea, right above Australia. It's the world's largest tropical island, housing the 3rd largest rainforest. Yet it is a darkness for the world. Because once the home of the indigenous West Papuans, more than 250 tribes, now become the home of the world's largest gold mine, 2nd largest copper mine, BP and many other corporations. So I hear the stories of victims and leaders. And I'm really thankful for you to come here because I feel and hear your resilience as you have transformed from victims to become very strong leaders. I'm one of the young independence leaders in West Papua, fighting for our lands and our rights and the culture that are disappearing very fast because of these corporations who are collaborating with Western governments. So, underlining one of the slogans that I've captured in my storytelling, system change by story change. These are the stories that have been kept away for much too long. Because if these were the stories at COP1, and we had the power to decide, COP2 wasn't needed. It's that simple. Indigenous peoples are the guardians of more than 80% of the world's remaining biodiversity. There is no solution without us. It's that simple. Science is building, but we still don't have the seat on the table that we deserve. So I'm really thankful for this opportunity, and I thank all the victim leaders and organizers for giving me this hope and courage, and for your fearless to continue this fight, because that's the only way forward. And I'm standing in full solidarity with you. Upcoming 11th December, I try to host an event in the B1 zone at the meetings, and I will have the opportunity to chant press release, and I would invite you to give a short chant there as well, around 10 a.m., to be the voice for your people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing that very encouraging reflection of this. It's always sometimes when the glimmer of hope is almost lost or the light is turning off, that you're just reminded you're here for a purpose and you will continue living. They are no longer environmental defenders. They have names. They are Dominic. They are Ina. They are Nansedalia. They are Nidia. They are Peregrino. Now we do not call them environmental defenders as if they were some connotation of proper English. We now call them by name. After this COP28, I challenge you, I invite you to now give names to environmental defenders, so that now they stop being a statistic. One environmental defender murdered someplace, and it's just a number. They have names, and these names we shall call out to them when we require courage ourselves. We might not all be on the front lines of fighting for our territories. In fact, some of us, and it is not our fault entirely, we might have found ourselves in places where we do not perhaps even need to fight, because perhaps systems work, because perhaps things have been set up. But now you know that others are suffering elsewhere. It is not time to lament what has been done perhaps by your ancestral heritage against other territories. It is now time to stand up in solidarity with those that are suffering the effects of that today. These are people at COP. These are people you have met. None of them has been cut in their presence, but I guarantee you they've got red hemoglobin. They are just like you and I, but have chosen not to be afraid. This event would not have been possible without the prayers of the very many people that were not able to be here with us. I'd like to also give a special acknowledgement to our brother Victor Ayertey from Ghana, of the International Movement of Catholic Students, who could not make it to COP. Wanted to, loved to, but couldn't make it to COP this time around. And now we found ourselves with this great team. I get the inspiration now to go on, but time is of the essence and people have other things to do. When you begin to do those things, do not forget Dominic, Ina, Nansedalia, Nidia, and Peregrino. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So before, as we conclude, I will invite our brother, because we have about 5 minutes or so. You want to say? You want to speak? Okay.
No. Okay, thanks for giving me the floor. I'm Farah Malala from Madagascar, and we're working in defending the rights of environmental defenders and whistleblowers in our country. And I want to share the story of our whistleblowers in Madagascar. So they are always under pressure, violence, and threats all the time, and the government doesn't really listen to them, and the only thing that they can do is to turn to us, civil society, to help them to raise their voice and to help them to do some efforts such through the media to tell their story, to share their story, and the only thing that we can do in our country is to search for international or regional other partners to help the whistleblowers in Madagascar to do something by, I don't know, by adopting a law about protecting the human rights and to protect the whistleblower, because there is no law to protect them in our country. And it will be very interesting to share some good practice, like in this said event, from the experience about another country. What are we doing in our country to face this sort of issues? So this afternoon, we're gonna have a said event in our pavilion in Madagascar to talk about the role of the environmental defenders. And if you want, you can attend to this said event, because it's very interesting. What is the link between the rights of those environmental defenders and climate change and the issues that are faced in some countries, and what can you do to really solve the problems? Because there are, last year, environmental defenders was killed because he wanted to raise his voice. And it's a very big issue in every country, like I was listening to you. And I think that it's a very good opportunity if you can share our experience, and then we can have a sort of network to bring something and to really find solutions to fight these problems. So thank you. And I hope this can make a really network from us and face the same problems. Thank you. This same event will be attended at 4:30 p.m. at the Pavilion Madagascar, B6, B5, 60.
Building 60.
Yes.
Building number 60. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much for that invitation. We will end our beautiful side event with a meditation led by our brother, my Bai, Shantanu.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone to be here. The word defending comes when there is lack of love, because where there is love, everything is saved. And so I would request each one of us, wherever we are, to stand up, hold each other's hand, and let's unite. This is what is needed more. Let's come, let's all hold each other's hand, and I'm sure one hand would be open for the world to join in. Yes, doesn't matter which way you are looking, but everybody needs to hold hands. Yes, 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 please come, come, come. Hold hands here. Whoever here is in the room, maybe you are sitting in the technicals, you can still hold hands with each other. Yes. And while you are holding your hands, try to feel the pulse, the life that is flowing through these hands. The life that is flowing is precious. Every life is sacred. Whether it's human life, whether it's life of a bird, whether it's life of an insect, every life on earth is precious. It is sacred. Each one of us here has a role to play, to remember who I am, a light. I am the light that will face the darkness, phase it out. I am the light that brings life. I am love that nurtures life. I allow the compassion. I allow love. I allow strength to radiate through me to whoever I meet. I allow this love, this power to nurture not just me and my life, but nurture people around me, to nurture nature, Mother Nature. For the next few seconds, in complete silence, visualize yourself radiating light to the whole world. Thank you so much.